Well, so far I have primarily concentrated my efforts on low-hanging fruit. I know it's probably not so much what you're in here interested in, but I will say this. Here's my list. It's a bunch of lines on it. And that just does something for the morale that helps a lot. Another reason I've put off getting to the big stuff, the exciting stuff, is, well, I had planned on taking this truck to a cruise in yesterday. Well, it got canceled because it poured down rain. Also, I was waiting for some parts to come in. Everything came in yesterday, so I'm going to tear into this cooling system now. I may as well rip off a band-aid and get to it. Hey y'all, my name's Aaron, and I'm a car addict. And these are my assistants, Caroline and Nellie. Together, we are Two Labs Garage. We're a car YouTube channel. We love old cars. We love old trucks. We go to events, shows, drives. We do repairs, maintenance, budget bills. Let you in on some of my tips and tricks I've learned over the years. And when we get the chance, we revive them. So come join us here at Two Labs Garage, where we're going to have fun putting old relics like this back on the road on a budget, and most importantly all, we're just going to have fun with old cars. Alright, let's get this radiator out here. Alright, so one thing I will go over real quick is the radiators in these trucks. Now, I've already gone over that, but there's a standard duty and a super duty radiator. And I messed up and got the standard duty, but it did fine in the truck. But I never did anything like power tour with it. And being that it is 20 years old now, I'm doing power tour, I'm doing the super duty. But also, 80 to 84s have this style radiator, or the super duty, that clamps with those things I just took off on top. Go right here. The 85 to 86 is a completely different mounting system. I think they screw into the firewall here or something. I'm not radiator core support. I can't really remember, but I know they're different. Gonna go ahead and take my bottom hose off. It's kind of a shame because these hoses are brand new. Yeah, that'll be a little quicker. I'll go ahead and undo the top one right here. Yeah, we'll be replacing that clamp. I see that clearly. Okay. So, we'll go ahead and remove the cap. And now at the water pump, try to get this hose off. Also, I'll mention at this point that the dogs are nowhere around. I've left them in the house because of the toxic nature of antifreeze. And dogs, please don't let your dogs get near this stuff. Or cats. I got nothing against cats. Just dogs first. Now this is going to come out like gangbusters. Like I said, I did my best to try to catch it, but try as I may. Alright, radiator out. Oh, well, what? I'll just bring this with it. Alright, so as you can see, radiator is still in really good shape, except where I put the hood latch through it. But I am really not one to be wasteful. I don't like being wasteful at all. So I am going to take this and reuse it on my 71, cap and everything. That's another story for another time. The next issue here is the fan. I'm going to do this while I got really good access. But this fan, I'm planning on going to electric fan for a variety of reasons. So I'm going to take this one off. But like I said before, I am going to put it in the back of the truck, so if there is some kind of unforeseen issue, I can just pop the fan back on it. I have to take my electric fans off, but I'll get to that. So anyway, I know it won't be a whole lot, but it'll free up a little power and maybe make it ride a little quieter. Who knows? If I had a good factory shroud, I'd use that with this fan, but I don't, so I'm making things work. Fan out. I'm going to put these bolts in the baggies. Alright, so the radiator. Some assembly required. And that's not a big deal. I might try to take a pick and see if I can't straighten those couple fins out. That's alright. But the fan, yeah, that's a kit. So, get to work on that. First of all, let me see if I can't straighten them out. Play with fire a little bit. Alright, that's an improvement anyway. Now let's see what's in here. Yeah! I feel like Hulk Hogan ripping this open. Alright, let's see how this goes. Not bad. Not bad. See, they don't pre-drill the holes for you, and I want the top to be like perfect. And these are the things that you attach it with if I was just using straight fans. Another one and some stuff to hold them on. And I reckon I gotta supply my own hardware to attach this. And that's fine. Springs. They come with any instructions? Nope. Okay, so I got the vice grips clamping the shroud to the radiator. Now I'm just taking a black Sharpie and finding where the bolt holes are and marking them. Alright. Now I know where to put my holes. Also, I say real quick right here, we got these plugs in here. That's where the transmission cooler would normally run in. But being that I'm running a manual now, automatic, I'm just going to leave them plugged. Alright, so here, got all 8 of my holes marked. Now just drill them out. Go drill them out with a 15/64 bit, because that looks like it's about the right size for a M6 metric bolt. I'm just using the metric because that's what I got in stainless. Anyway. Alright, so sorry I forgot to turn the mic on the last part. I've gone ahead, got my stainless hardware in there, except one bolt that was missing. I put it on the very bottom where no one will see it. And now, stainless washer and stainless nylon stop nut, whatever you want to call these. Alright, so the fans, these are the fans that came with the shroud, and they use these things to secure it down. And I don't see any locking hardware. Well, yeah, there is a little bit of a lock washer there. I'm still going to put a little bit of this blue never turn loose juice on it. Yeah, I'm just going to hand tighten these. Alright, I lied, I am going to use this. Another thing I've discovered is not to tighten them down all the way as you're putting these in, because there's some slop, and you need that slop just to get everything to line up. Once you got all 4 of your bolts in, cinch her down. Okay, so before I put the radiator back in, I'm going to want to put some bolts in where the fan used to be to hold the pulley on the water pump. So I ended up getting these bolts from the hardware store. Grade 8 really is overkill for this, but it's what they had in the diameter and thread count. So anyway, go stick these in the water pump and roll on. Alright, so you get the fans to work. What I got here is a JEGS wiring harness, and it tells you a nice little color picture thing. Actually, I'm really impressed with how the instructions are, because I know very little about this kind of stuff as far as electronics, and this has made me feel like I can do this. So kudos to JEGS. I paid for this, they didn't give it to me, but I'm happy with my purchase. So I guess first things first, you need to go ahead and hook the relay mount harness thingies up. And I was originally thinking somewhere over here by that fender, but it said do as close to the fans as possible. And I've already looked at this a little bit. The red one that's power wire will reach the battery, and everything will reach, and it'll be protected. There's like a little seat column right here. And that's right by the radiator, not far away. It's protected, so I really think that's the spot that's good. So first things first, we'll go ahead and mount these. Alright, so what I found is it works best to put to pre-drill the screw thing with your nut driver, but come back and either hand do it or maybe use a nut driver, socket wrench or something like that, because the chuck hits the sensor itself. So anyway, that's how I'm going to do this. Alright, so we have really got a confusion of wires here. And to be honest with you, normally this would scare the life out of me, but that drawing really helped. So I'm going to start getting this into some meaningful sense and order. First off, let's see. Let's get them grouped by color. Alright, so I got my red wires. I'm going to use this loom webbing I got that I've had forever, just to try to neaten things up and whatnot. Now, if you don't have this stuff, you use the more conventional loom, or if you'd rather, just zip tie them every so often. I mean, that'll work too. I like this stuff. I got it off eBay a long time ago. I don't even remember what it's called, but looks like I'm soon going to have to figure it out, because it looks like I'm going to run out soon. But it takes a little while to get it on, but I think it really looks nice. Alright, so now on the end I've got where I've only got a couple inches left before I'm going to stop it and let them go their separate ways. So to keep this stuff from fraying, I burn it. And while I don't have a knife handy, like I don't right now, alright, and that's got plenty to reach this inner fender. I'll move y'all around, but just to give you a rundown, you put the lugs on the end of the red wires and you run them to your circuit breakers. On this one, copper is to the battery. It says AUX, that's your load side, that will go out onto the, also by me putting it way over here, that keeps a good ways away from the engine and all, hopefully keep it from overheating. So I'm going to put it on the inner fender. But anyway, now just go ahead and get my terminals on. And these are my 10 gauge, what I'm calling jumper wires that go from the battery to the circuit breaker. And I'm just using these because this is what I had around. I think ideally they'd like you to chop some excess off this red, but I'm doing it this way, right, wrong, or indifferent. And just while I got one out for demonstration, the battery one will go right here, and the one to the fans right there. I'm going to take some self-tappers, put the circuit breakers over here. Alright, so occasionally I forget that this particular camera does not have an automatic microphone to it, and I'll forget to switch it on manually. So anyway, basically what I'm flapping my gums about right now is I'm putting the sensor in it, and I have found that by the thermostat there's a plug in there, and you can pull that out, put your sensor in there, and keep the sensor in the intake manifold that controls your idiot light. And tighten it down with whatever size socket that is. I honestly don't remember. Sorry about that. I got some Teflon tape on it, and I think that's all the pertinent stuff there is to that right now. Okay, also the gray wires go to the sensor to control the fan, so I've got them routed. And I'm getting ready to cut them to length right about now. And then I believe I put a female spade terminal on it. Let's see. Alright, so after a little while of messing around with the meter and looking for some switch power under here, I made an executive decision. And that decision is that I'm going to run it off of switching the cab. And a couple of reasons behind that. One, I couldn't find anything that I was looking at, but also, if I had better instrumentation and could like tell what's going on inside these wires, a decent wiring diagram or something, I could probably, without a whole lot of trouble, find some switch power under here. I also got to thinking about it, and let's just say we get home. Hope we don't, but let's say we do. And I'm on the side of the road, I cut the thing off, my fans are going to cut off. So if I have a switch inside the cab, even when it's off, I can have the fans running and cool things down a little bit. So I think that's the direction I'm going to take. So I went ahead and got the yellow wires fed up through the firewall there. Now you can see it now, the yellow wires right here. And also, being the one that I'm putting on my manual overdrive with the ground is also yellow, just because it's what I have. I put a little piece of blue tape on the end, so after I feed it through, I still know which one it is. So I'm just going to feed it through this grommet in the firewall that's dry rotted enough I can squeeze extra stuff through. Kind of handy, really. Now I'm just going to take some cable ties and neaten up the wires, just kind of grouping them. Starting at the end closest to the sensor. So what do you know? Once again, I forgot to turn the microphone on. I'm sure glad the other camera has an automatic one. But anyway, I digress. Right now, I'm running the ground wires for these fans. And having these fans on a manual control for someone that can't even remember to turn the microphone on, yeah, that's really reassuring. Now, another thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this solenoid somewhere on the firewall, and I'm going to use this for the inverter. I got a wire going from the battery that long enough to reach the firewall. Then I'm going to make up a second wire to go under the cab and come up through the floor, and that's going to be what feeds it. And then I'll have a switch in the cab which will do this. Now the reason I'm bringing that up at this point is I'm going to go ahead and mount this. Alright, so I picked a spot for the solenoid. This is a continuous duty one versus the intermittent, because at first I thought about using one of these forward ones or the one I just changed on my lawn tractor that turned out not to be the problem. But they're for intermittent duty, they wouldn't last long in this. So I hemmed and hawed about where I should put this thing. And I thought about this area, but I noticed that Ford kept a lot of the electronics kind of away from the engine. They did that, I guess, to keep it away from the heat. So this right here is what I decided on. So I'm going to pre-drill a couple holes, and then I'm going to mount it up. Alright. Hopefully that'll sit level-ish. Mounting it using roof and bonding washer screws. Because I got a bunch of them, and I think that rubber washer will just kind of cushion things. Will it make any difference or anything? I don't know. That's a good thought. Now, I'm just going to kind of get my cable laid like I want it so I can route it. Alright, that's good. I'm just finger tightening it now, just for a fit up. Alright, so it's always something. I said I was going to take this thing outside here in a few minutes. Just got alert severe thunderstorm warning. So maybe not. Nonetheless, it's a hood up there. Y'all didn't just get to see me bang my head against the hood. But anyway, got plenty I can do without taking the truck out. God knows. First off, I'm going to change battery cables. At least go try to. Because I don't like this thing. And I'll hang it up on the shelf and find something else to use it on. This thing's cracked too. The terminal. I just don't like these terminals, but oh well. 4 gauge. Might put it in the back of a truck in case somebody fries a cable on power to where I can give them that one. Anyway, go change over to a 2 gauge Deca. I think I'm going to start making my own cables, but yeah, that's good right there. I think that worked for sure, for sure. Alright, now for one to go down to the starter. And like any good Ford owner, I'm carrying spares of these. And yeah, I said that in plural because I probably will carry spares, plural. Now, that goes down yonder, gets hung on something. I don't know what. But since I'm out, I'll go ahead and get the negative or sag cable, whatever this is, off. This out of here. Yeah, this cable definitely needed changing. Probably could have gotten away with the other one, but this one, no. Alright, so my solenoid to starter cable yesterday was too short. Anyway, I finally remembered my 71 having some really nice cables in it. So when I went over and looked, that thing's got 2-watt battery cables in it. This thing's like huge. Unfortunately, it's got a little 6 gauge going to the starter that's worn out. But the one I got for this truck actually fits, so that's good. I just don't need that one right now. But anyway, I went out this morning to the old Wally World. Got me a 51-inch 2 gauge. The other one was a 41, so I'm pretty sure this will do just fine. Not really relevant, but they had tape measures 2-pack on clearance for $10. So I got all the clearance ones. And I picked up this 49-inch 6 gauge cable too, because that's letting I put my 3G starter in, or 3G alternator in. This is what I'm going to use for a power supply, so I got a really nice wire going to it. Alright, so I did some research, and evidently this is a carriage bolt here that goes into the dash, It appears that somebody has done this before and removed some bolts and never put them back. So I did also find it appears there is actually a bolt here somewhere. See if I can feel it. Yep, there it is. There is one down there, way down there. So that one. Let's see if I can find any more. It led me to believe there are a couple more down here. I've also read you gotta remove this cowl to get to some of them. I don't know if that's on air conditioned only units or this one just don't have, I don't know, but I mean, we certainly don't have to go in there, it doesn't seem like. And I'll tell you another thing, I'm not going in there. So anyway, see if I can figure out how to get to that hidden bolt. And get this out so I can change the heater core. Well, isn't this cute? That is my transmission cross member, and it's just sitting there. Ain't no bolts in that. Back in '07, I had some crackhead work on my truck because at the time I wasn't confident enough to do a clutch. I guess you get what you pay for. Unbelievable. And this is the truck I'm taking on power tour. And I just discovered this because I was underneath it changing the starter wire. And I about took this truck down to Georgia with a transmission cross member just sitting there. I guess it's been like that for 16 years, but still. So I got my starter cable run. That's nice. Alright, spark plug time. Wife came out and offered to help, and I was going to have her do this, but I don't know, I think Hercules put these plugs in. No, it's just a 25-year-old version of me. See, what do I use? Knowing me, probably Champions. Dropped it on the... Alright, so I used auto lights. Surprise. And I cracked the porcelain taking it off, so that's good. Overall, the plug isn't looking too bad. A little worn, burns a little oil, but nothing abnormal. So putting them in, gonna be replacing them with auto light platinums. Wasn't filmed because it's a little hotter spark, and when you got something that burns a little oil, a little hotter spark is great. Yep, gapped.
Are you going to be taking them all off and then I give you the new pieces?
Yes, I'm going to go one at a time. My wife said it's very when I take them off, she's sorting out the wires for me. Ooh, righty-tighty, Aaron, righty-tighty. Alright, so we've got the spark plugs and wires in. And over here I have started working on getting the heater box off so I can change the heater core. But there is a hidden fastener somewhere I can't seem to find, so I'm going to do some research. But it's also that time of evening where I'm going to call it a night and get a fresh start in the morning. Alright, so I did some research. And evidently, this is a carriage bolt here that goes into the dash. It appears that somebody has done this before and removed some bolts and never put them back. So I did also find it appears there is actually a bolt here somewhere. See if I can feel it. Anyway, so now we got the heater box out. Now, this may not be the best truck to demonstrate on, because somebody at some point jerry-rigged this thing. They actually bored a hole in the inner fender right here. And I'm guessing that was to get to this bolt right here a little easier. And I must say that utilizing their whole hilt, I think I'll try to find something to plug it, make it a little more attractive. And also, I'm guessing right here is where the stud that goes into the cowl area is. And yeah, but somebody zinged that off. So, yeah. Anyway, that's the proper thing. Like I said, I'm not sure what the best plan of attack to get to this upper one is, because I just didn't have to. Maybe from the heater bolts on the inside, I don't know. But like I said, somebody else already zinged it for me, so I'll just go with that. There's a bolt right here, so I don't really think you need that. So anyway, I didn't even disconnect the cable, just because, well, I might have to go through all the rigmarole. Alright. There we go, whole heater core. And like I said, it's missing one of these things, so that was the big deal in getting this one out. Alright. Go get the new one and dump these leaves out, for goodness sakes. Alright. New heater core. Just slides in there nicely. Now this, while I got out, I really want to just put a coat of paint on it. I don't know, nobody will ever see it, but I'll know. I just won't be real picky about the color. I mean, I'll use whatever the first can is I see. Alright. I wasn't kidding when I said I was going to use the first color I found. This is touch-up paint from my Pontiac Tempest. I should do just fine for this. Still a little tacky. Maybe I should wait for it to dry, but I'm not. Anybody know what this 34 means? Put in the comments. Alright, now. So we got the new one in. All we need to do now is hook it up. So when I knocked the hose attachment off, I just looped my heater hoses. Pretty typical, a lot of people do that. So now it's time to just unloop it and put it back. Free. Now bad thing is when I did that, I had just put brand new hoses on. Good thing about that is I can just use this one. Now, if I remember right, these are not size specific. So go ahead and get this one on here. Slide that as far as I can. And do the tighten up. Now, just go into my inventory and find a piece of heater hose. Maybe even see if I can find the one I took off here. Alright, so I can't find the hose that I took off it when that thing broke. I may have used it for another project, who knows. But nonetheless, this is how I buy heater hose. Alright. Stick that on there. And just cut it off right there. Alright. Heater hoses are hooked up. And there you go. Heater is back together. I got to thinking about the wire that's going to run to the new fuse box inside. And how I was going to go through the firewall with that and get a grommet in and all the insulation in there. And what I came up with was I had limited good options. So I continued to think about it as this helicopter goes over. Sorry about the noise. And I thought, you know where that thing that used to be a bolt that somebody whacked off and the heater box was? It's a good place to run run the wire through the firewall. So I thought, why not? Fairly easy to get to, and I don't have to worry about some of my concerns I had. Probably would have been handy to do this first, but it can be done now. So I'm going to put my webbing loom on it, make it look a little nicer, and just fuse the ends together. Ouch. Fire's hot. I'm gonna let that one join the constant power lug. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this episode up. And there'll be another one coming shortly where we finish getting this thing ready. But we got back to our running state now. I'm going to go ahead and start adding coolant to it. Just to start looking for leaks, getting rid of air pockets and whatnot. So I'm using this Traveler antifreeze for a very specific reason. I went and Tractor Supply, it was on sale. Really good price. Alright, so far so good. Now we can go fill this up with some water so we can have some 50-50 in it. So that was the part of the episode, basically getting the stuff under the hood ready, changing the radiator, fixing the heater core, fans, hoses. God, I've halfway forgotten everything I've done under there. Anyway, that was part 2 of this multi-part series. Stick around. When episode 3 comes out, we're going to go inside the cab. We're going to get a whole bunch of stuff wired up, controlled, and get it all working. So all the fruits from the labor we've done under the hood will come to life. And we're going to do some interior improvements. And then after that, probably on episode 4, we got to get my tires mounted. We got shocks and brakes. And I imagine there's a few more odds and ends we got to do, but nonetheless, we're going to have this truck ready on Power Tour. Make sure you don't miss an episode. Hit the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. It will let you know when I put a new video out, which I try to do every week, either Thursday or Friday. So, take care of yourself, take care of each other, take care of your projects. God bless, and I'll see you again soon.